But earmuff, you stay on hard.
Okay, welcome to the live edition of the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan, A.D, Drew, and as you can see, joining us way earlier than he usually does. It's Coach Rossi Norman. Coach, well, first off, Drew.
He's not the only one who's early.
Exactly. We are early. You normally don't get us this early in a Sunday, but we are coming off of a celebration. I don't even call it a hangover. Whatever you want to call it, that's what we're on. And so we're probably still up and, just living the life as Rattlers, as alums, enjoying what we saw yesterday afternoon in the Celebration Bowl. As you see the final winning touchdown there. So yeah, we're on a little bit early. Hopefully we'll be able to get out a lot earlier than we normally do. No 3-hour show tonight. Promise you.
Brother got to get. Brother got to get on the road.
Promise you. All right.
Bryan, did we tell him where we at? We're at the BCSN studios.
Yes, we're. It's very simple right now. Soon to be expanded, and there'll be other stuff. You'll see graphics and background stuff in the back, but right now it's a start. It's a great start. So shout out to CEO, producer right now, Roy Evans, finding some partners to partner with. I don't know if we're gonna can I disclose where we are at the moment? Okay, I know I'm gonna mess up the mall. We're at the name of the store, or the name of the venue is called Privy. At the Stone Crest Mall, which is right on the edge of DeKalb County.
Suburban Atlanta.
Yeah, right on the edge of DeKalb County. So Privy, part of a $17.6 million development that's happening over here. So we are, Black Excellence.
HBCU alum, if I remember correct. One of the partners is an HBCU alum.
Yeah, so this is a start, something big that we're excited about being a part of going into 2024. So not only just Jericho broadcasting, but also the Black College Sports Network. We're actually going to have shows and a home studio and just other things that we're going to be able to do here in Atlanta, Georgia, where we are based. Coach, how you doing this afternoon, my man?
I'm doing well, blessed. Got up this morning, cleaned my house. I tell you, I always clean every Sunday, real good. Then I spotted on Tuesday, Thursdays. Went and did my laundry, came back, put my laundry up, then got a phone call saying, hey, we on early. And I was like, oh, we on early. So I had to call my sister. My sister's in town from Houston, and we was going to go eat at my little brother's restaurant. So I said, hey, I'll call you when the show's over. And she's like, okay. So, hey, I'm excited to be here. Always good to see you, brothers. Congratulations on last night. That was a big win for you guys. I see you got your orange and green on and everything like that. Good game. I had no complaints about it. Everything like that. I was excited to watch it. And I also saw the game on Wednesday. Tell me, Beach Bowl. I saw Beach Bowl.
Yeah.
Johnson C. Smith, Fort Valley.
Yeah, we'll get in there. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that coming up here in a moment. Are you coughing? Is that just a natural cough, or you got something to say there, Drew?
Sinuses, bro. Sinuses.
Okay, sinuses. Right. So bowl week is a good bowl week for HBCU. So I
Hey,
mean,
real quick. Let me ask you this. So in the future, when you guys start doing your show, are you guys going to be doing it in the studio? So you guys got to get back and forth to Atlanta?
No.
Oh,
This
okay.
is for this. This would be our home base of operations. There will be shows that will be ran out of the area. We'll still primarily run it from virtually. But when we are in Atlanta, we have events in Atlanta or people in Atlanta, we will be here. Our goal ultimately is once a month to do a show from Atlanta, live show from Atlanta. We'll start off once a quarter and kind of get into it as we kind of feel our way through this process. But yes, we will be doing certain shows from here. Obviously, if there are events in Atlanta like the Celebration Bowl, the BX Swag Challenge this fall, other events in Atlanta, we're just all the different entities of the Black College Sports Network come here and have a base to do a show in addition to whatever we do on site.
Hey, you guys are taking big steps, man. I'm just proud to be a part of it. In case people don't know, I'm not in Atlanta. I'm at home. I know our backgrounds look the same, but I'm at home.
Right. All right. So give a shout out to a few people I've seen already jumped in. Shout out Mary 305. Appreciate
Mary, what's
you.
up, girl?
You're coming in early. There's a few other people I'm seeing that are joining. Obviously, a lot of people may still be traveling from Atlanta, or maybe they're in the airport, wherever they are in the Atlanta airport. And but always make sure if you're dialed in with at my BCSN 1, the number 1 on Facebook, X, YouTube, through the Jericho broadcast networks. Make sure you're following the BCSN SportsWrap, our YouTube page, our Facebook page. And that way, whenever we do go live, if we give you a good notification and enough time, you'll know it. But also make sure you check that bell. So that way you'll always get the notification and you'll jump in and you'll see that, oh, hey, guys are going live. So we appreciate you. I see Demetra jumped in.
What's up,
hello
Demetra?
to you too. And I know Instagram is now, there's opportunities for us to stream our show on Instagram. So I don't know when we're going to try that. We may try that later this week. Who knows? We may try that in the middle of the week. I know we got a couple shows coming on later on during the week, and we'll kind of go through that.
Speaking of shows, Brian, we've done a conglomerate of shows this week live from Atlanta, beginning I believe Wednesday inside the HBCU Sports Lab, Wednesday and Thursday from Atlanta, then the ONG Strike Zone along with inside the HBCU Sports Lab live from Radio Row. Saturday morning, we joined the Carlos Brown Show live from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and then we just did an impromptu show last night, ONG Strike Zone, and impromptu Celebration Bowl recap show from the Omni Hotel. So we've been all over the place, and this is kind of capping it off with the BCSN SportsWrap coming to you guys early. So we're putting in the work for all you people out there covering HBCU sports. Sometimes we've been in places where there's been no other entity who covers Black sports has been this week to bring you action behind the scenes.
Yeah, and thank you to everybody who has tuned in, who has watched us live, whether you watched us in post podcast, watch the replay. Those of you who retweeted and shared the show wherever you're at, we appreciate you. Greatly appreciated you supporting us, all of our various shows and entities in all of its forms. So it's very much appreciated. You are the backbone for what we're doing, and please, continue to support in whatever way you're able to, whether it be, even if it's a cup of coffee, it's always appreciated. A share, retweet, watching the show, whether it be on the website, mybcsn.net/watch. It could be on Instagram, wherever you are watching. Just thank you. So I think that's, I wanted to add in that. All right, let's get into talking about this game, because I know we talked a lot about the game last night. So I think we'll kind of, with Coach here, we'll kind of come and talk about the various parts of this game from a coach's perspective and things, because, Coach, you had a chance to watch it. It's kind of different, I'll say. You had a chance to watch it from the television perspective. Drew and I are watching. We're both working that game, so I think
Literally.
our watching from our perspective was different because you don't get a chance to see options. For example, when things go foul, you're not really watching a play develop, and so we probably missed some things in the post game commentary, I'm sure. But like I said, having you on, we can start. Let's start with the first quarter. I want to kind of break this down quarter by quarter, Coach. I don't want us to jump too far into the whole game because this game took so many ups and downs, ebbs and flows. Howard jumping out to a 14-0 lead in the first quarter, and really on the opening kickoff, I mean, the opening run. I mean, look, we started our season with a touchdown to open the season, and I had that fear. I don't know about you, Drew, but I'm watching this thing and I'm like, oh, I'm like, what? And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a return. Talk about, Coach, your opening views of the opening kickoff, the opening drive by Howard, and just the way they came out ready. Were they the team that was more ready at the beginning of this game, or just maybe the nerves in a big game like this?
Bryan, A.D, I tell you, I was watching the game, and I saw a tale of two halves. I saw two teams on the field warming up. I know they spoke with Howard's coach, and then they spoke with your coach. And then, like you say, with the kickoff, oh boy, got a good kick return. And I'm like, at first I thought he was going to take it to the house, but he got caught. And I was like, oh, okay. And then they had a good drive going, and they scored. And then they jumped out on you 14-0, and I'm thinking that 28-day hiatus worked. They're healthy, they're strong, they're excited, they're ready to play. And I'm thinking, wow, okay, this could get – and I'm thinking, I'm just going to tell you the truth. I hope you guys don't get your feelings hurt. But I said, if they hit you guys one more time early, I think that you guys would probably shut down and be like, wow, because I don't think you guys have ever been down by 21 points. I've seen like 3 games of FAMU. And I'm thinking if they get down 21 points early, this is going to be ugly.
Never
I think we've been down 14.
14 is the most. 14 is the most.
Texas Southern and USF.
I'm thinking to myself, if they hit you, because they were hot. I mean, they boom, they were hot. That quarterback in the beginning, that quarterback looked good. Little James, Edrin's son, he looked good. The O-line looked good. They got 2 NFL prospects on that line. They got a big line. I don't know. I think I told A.D. during the week, I said I went back and did my homework. Their line is just as big as South Carolina State. I think South Carolina State got the biggest line in HBCU football. Them boys that Howard got, they some biggins. I mean, they sit right up there with South Carolina State. And
hey, Coach, let me cut in there. I actually, in the corridor underneath the stadium, happened to walk past a couple of them linemen, and bruh, you're right. Them jokers are humongous.
Yes.
I know the one I walked past had to be at least 6'8", 3 and some change, bro. And you know, I as a basketball coach, I know 6'8" when I see 6'8".
Yeah.
So
I got you. Yeah, they got a big line. So they start off real good, running the ball. The quarterback was poised, and like I said, there was 14-0 real quickly. And like I said, I'm thinking if they hit these brothers one more time, 21-0, fam's gonna stay down.
Let me add.
Go ahead, Bryan.
No, I was going to say, you meant being 14-0. It's not just 14-0. They were up 14-0 in the first 5 minutes of the game.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if they hit you guys one more time, because they came out hot. I mean, they came out like hot. I'm like, wow, okay. That's why I said that 28 days did them good, because, we said 30 wasn't quite 30. It was 28 days. I said them 28 days did them brothers well. You could tell they sharp. And remember, we talked about this last week, A.D. We talked about offense, defense, special teams. Made sure they worked special teams. And you could tell they worked special teams because that first kick return, I mean, the blocking was right. Oh, boy, if he had with a little more extra gear, he probably would have gone. But Fam's got plenty of speed, so they caught him. They jumped out on 14-0, and I'm thinking, wow. And then finally, you guys, the first 2 quarters, you guys weren't really playing very well. Number 23, you weren't opening holes for him. You guys got a good line. You weren't opening holes for him. Musa made some mistakes early. And I remember someone in the week telling me, they says, this kid Musa, he'll get if he starts losing, he'll get frustrated and he'll start, throwing interception. I'm thinking, I ain't seen the brother get frustrated year long. He played pretty well in South Carolina.
Right. I don't know who said that. Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, wow. But then I saw him get frustrated, and I saw him throw a pick. And the one thing I saw that stuck out to me that I would say was good job, coach, was as Moose was walking back to the sideline, Coach Simmons walked out there. He didn't yell and scream at him. He didn't grab him by the face, man. You can see he was talking to him and probably just saying, hey, man, what's going on? It's early. Calm down. We need you. And then Musa came back out there. They tried to run the ball with number 23. No success. Got blitzed, got sacked. But Musa came to the sideline, and you could tell he was walking down the sideline. He was upset, as a quarterback would be. He was getting on his boys. So Howard had the advantage early. Coach Simmons walked over there. He talked to Musa. He talked to the line. I watched him talk to Musa, talk to the line. They came out there. Then they start to settle down a little bit. I'm trying to figure. Still 14.
Let me jump in for a second because I wanna mention, you these FAMU drives, right? And I'm looking here, going back through the drive chart here. FAMU's first drive, you end up with a fumble on third down.
That's right. Right.
That gives Howard the ball back on the FAMU 37-yard line, right? Then you have the second drive down 14-0, and this was, I thought, one of the early. Now, again, we talked about this last night. I don't think officiating. There were moments where officiating, where I think a lot of people saw the officiating and questioned it, and probably more so from the FAMU side questioned it. But that drive that stalled at the 5-yard line, right? Howard had just gone up 14-0. FAMU got it on their own 44, drove 6 plays, got all the way down to the Howard 5. And what should have been a Musa first down, they spotted it short.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
And it never went to a review, which that amazed me, first off, being where we were, Drew. But it was a turnover on downs, correct?
Yes,
so,
sir.
Then fortunately the FAMU defense showed up, shut Howard down on that drive. FAMU gets their first score to cut the deficit in half. And then on the next offensive drive was the safety, which, FAMU started on their 16, went backwards.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, honestly, it's very good that Musa didn't lose that ball, because the way he held that ball, if his hand wasn't big enough and strong enough, that ball could have easily have come out of his hand.
True.
And that would have resulted in probably a touchdown, could it have not. So I'm looking at, FAMU being down 16-7, Coach, and I'm thinking we're very fortunate to be only down 16-7. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so once again, with that safety right there, Howard has a good D line. I know they were that good because, like I said, I've only seen them once early in the year. So the D line gave your offensive line some fits early, well throughout the game, I'm gonna say. But on that particular play, I think Musa I didn't know he was that close to the end zone. Because I'm thinking, what are you doing, kid? Where are you going? And then I looked up, they had him. I'm saying, oh, that's a safety. Everything like that. So you're right, Brian. If he would have been holding that ball a little carefully, that could have been a touchdown. So that was a safety. So now they're up 16. Now I'm going to say this. Howard came out hot. But once they got to that 16 and you guys were down to 7, they kind of stalled. I'm not going to say that you guys did anything to stall them, but it's almost like I didn't see the hotness anymore. It's almost like when you're turning your oven off, and you go from 8 to 6, and then you turn. They just started going backwards. I'm thinking, the quarterback started making mistakes. Your defense stepped up. Your defense played well, sacking him. They stopped, like I said, he stopped Lil James, because Lil James is supposed to be one of the better backs for the year. Howard has a good running game. And
Eden James is that dude. Eden James is the one. Eden James, outside of the defensive performance by Howard, Eden James was their offensive star. Now, I don't think he scored a touchdown.
He didn't.
But he was the guy who had the longest runs, and he was the one guy that I actually was a bit worried about for FAMU to kind of say, if there's anybody that's going to be a big game playmaker for Howard, it's Eden James. And he had some runs that I kind of had to hold my breath on and was like, please, somebody grab this dude, because no lie. I mean, he broke off some good runs there in that, especially going into the second half. But
he had not to cut you off, Brian. He had a couple good runs. I mean, he just didn't get busy. I was expecting, because they got that big line, I thought they were going to try to come push you guys around. But I thought they found out early that your defense wasn't backing up. I mean, your defense came to play. I give you guys that much credit. Defense came to play. Honestly, defense kept you guys in it, because, like I said, there was a time in the game, besides that safety, your O-line wasn't playing very well. Number 77, number 71, it was like 3 plays in a row. Twice they jumped off sides, and then one guy failed the guy. And I was like, and then the O-line coach, he got mad. He took his headset off. He started screaming, and you seen Coach Simmons go over there and say something. He'll probably like, hey, buddy, calm down. We don't need all that. But 77 and 71, I remember those guys. I'm thinking, They you didn't really get their name called too much throughout the years, but they stuck out in the game. So that stuck out right there. But their D-line came to play. Let me see. Fast forward a little bit. We're still at 16-7. But once again, once they got to 16, they stalled out a little bit. That quarterback wasn't making good throws because one time, right before the half, I don't know if you guys saw it, they had a receiver wide open. I'm talking about open, like Kmart, 24/7. Huh? Open. He didn't
see, that's the part that, from our perspective where we were, we don't get a chance to see that because we're tracking the ball and the play. So I probably would have to go back and watch the broadcast, which hopefully I'll get a chance to do later today.
Bryan, he was AD. He was open. I mean, he was waving. I don't know if you see it. He was waving at the quarterback, and I don't know what the quarterback doing, but I do remember this. The coach came out there and got on his butt because he pointed like, "You didn't see him down there? You didn't see him down there?" And the quarterback, he's a little taller than the coach, and he kind of shook his head like, "No, I didn't." And the coach was ripping him a good one. I'm thinking, "Hey, good job, coach," because he was open, brother. And I'm thinking, "Oh my God." Myself, I teach my boy those opportunities to end a game. That's another touchdown because he's open, and he didn't hit him. And then the quarterback started going backwards, and then your D-line stepped up, was able to pressure him, flutter him, got to him. They stopped Lil James. Like you said, Lil James had some good runs, but for the most part, he wasn't able just to dominate the way people thought he was going to do. Your defense stopped him. Halftime came around, saw the bands a little bit.
Let me pause right there because since you're hitting the halftime mark, let's kind of reset here for a moment. 16-10 at half. I thought there was no bigger play than FAMU coming out of that half with a field goal and knowing that FAMU gets the ball to start the third quarter. And despite not really scoring in that quarter or just the fact that you ended the half on a positive going into the locker room. And I know, we talked to the coaches after the game. They talked about just guys kind of staying together, no finger pointing, guys having to really just the coaches did a great job, I think, on the FAMU side of getting into the guys mentally. Because I in all the reports that I've heard, there was a lot of nervousness. I mean, whether it be no bigger game that FAMU has played in, and the expectation is high.
Yeah.
I mean, when you are the favorite, now, even though it was a 4-point and it got up to 6, maybe 7, that was low. I mean, but the expectation of what FAMU had on its shoulders was extreme. So, yeah, we probably played a little tight early on, and Howard was real loose. And so that contributed, again, I'm very, very happy that we were only down 6 at the half. What do you got, Drew? I know you want to get a question in there for Coach.
Yeah, Coach.
Talk to me.
I want to ask you about these special teams. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Coach. What I saw, especially in the first half to open the game, on the kickoff coverage was terrible for both teams. I don't know if you were able to pick up on that when you were at home, and I'll just go back over some of them. Let's see. Opening kickoff. Return to the FAMU 27. Kickoff 55 yards, 63-yard return on the opening kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next kickoff, FAMU gets the next kickoff. 40-yard return on the next kickoff.
Surely I thought we were going to break
47. Both of those kickoffs, yeah, we thought the returner was going to take it to the house. Matter of fact, and I can tell you this for fact, I think the kickers on the kickoffs
yes, they did.
probably led all special teams in tackles. I know both kickers on both teams made at least one tackle, if not two, on kickoff coverage.
True.
Which is never a good thing when your kicker is making a tackle.
No, it's not a good thing. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me finish. The next kickoff, 41-yard return. This is FAMU returning. So Howard's had one good one. FAMU has had 2 good kickoff returns. Then there was another kickoff return. That was a punt out of bounds. And that's just the first quarter for Rossi. 3 kickoffs to the first quarter, and all of them were 40 yards or more. Then the kickers finally got smart and started kicking the ball, touchbacks and everything else. But what do you attribute the special teams, the not being able to cover on the kickoffs and special teams to?
Not going live in practice. You could tell they worked on them because everyone didn't. Everyone stayed in their lane. Everyone sprinted down. The kicker kicked the ball. The returners was able to see. So you could tell they practiced it, but they weren't able to go live. And I think that's what it was. Because when you're not able to go live, it gives that return an opportunity. Because when you're coming down, you're not used to coming down sprint because you ain't hit nobody. And FAMU's 2 weeks and the other team in 28 days. So you're not used to going live. You used to hit nobody. So I think that gives a tribute to the return. Now, later in the game, I remember you guys had 2 good returns. And I remember Jay Walker says, if we keep kicking it to this kid, I don't know who it was, Bailey, whatever his name was, the star receiver, the returner. He said, we keep kicking him, he's going to take one back. He's that good. And that's when they started kicking short or to somebody else. And I'm thinking, okay, the kicker must have hurt him because I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking, you're not going to get his brother too many chances to go past the 40 and he not taking the distance. But after that, they stopped kicking it to him. So that was smart on them. But I would say, AD, that would tribute to, you could tell, like I said, we talked about special teams last week, working on special teams. You can tell they worked on them, but you can tell they probably didn't do a lot of hitting, which is smart because you're not trying to get nobody hurt. But then again, it comes down to what you're getting. Luckily, neither team took one back to the house, but that was just too close for comfort. And that right there tightens your neck collar like, and as a special teams coordinator, whoever he was on both sides, you got to tell the kicker, okay, we got to do something different, brother, because sooner or later we're going to get one hit on us. And that's a big blow to it. That's a big blow in the game. So I was glad to see that they stopped kicking to your one kid because I figured sooner or later he's going to take one. That kid is talented and he's got speed. And you guys stopped kicking it to the one kid who took it, the first guy back, started kicking it somewhere else. Then they kicked a couple short ones. Punt return wise, it was a couple good punt returns. And once again, that goes tribute to not tackling. You can tell didn't nobody do no tackling on special teams, which is smart on the coach's back because you're not trying to get nobody hurt. It's too late in the season. But then again, you at least want to get some wrap-ups. You at least want to get some wrap-ups. You don't want to go to the ground, but you can get some wrap-ups. Sometimes, coaching, we call it mirror, where you just run by a guy. I'm running by you and I'm just looking at you, but I'm not actually wrapping you up or touching you. And I think that what came into effect on the special teams there. So I would say, I knew at the halftime, they showed special teams was like, man, there was some good yardage, like 176 to 155. I mean, you guys got the stats in front of you, but it was some good yardage special teams-wise. And I was like, whoa. Okay, you could tell. I mean, they added up. It was some good yardage on both sides, special teams wise.
Yeah, the first kickoff gave Howard a short field when they scored the first touchdown, and then of course the turnover gave them the short field for the second touchdown. There are 2 other big kickoffs, and these occurred in the fourth quarter. One was by Terrell Jennings. He only it was a 28-yard return to the FAMU 34, but once again, he was one player from taking it to the house. And then
Howard had
for Howard, Ian Wheeler returned one to the FAMU 45, and this was just after FAMU had gone up. Was this after the pick six?
No, this was FAMU had gone up. 8.
This was after the
second touchdown,
PAC, right? When they went for 2. When they went for 2, it didn't get to 2, I believe.
Right. So it was after 2 consecutive touchdowns, drives, and the crowd was lathered up. I mean, that was the point where, look, I think folks were ready to celebrate. I think folks had already started pulling out bottles of champagne, and they were about ready to start popping bottles. And then all of a sudden,
put that plug back in there.
Yeah, that return happened. It was like, oh, smack. Let me put this.
I remember that
for a second. Because we got a game. All of a sudden the game went drunk, and all of a sudden we had lead changes, and I didn't see that happening. Yeah, that was probably the surprise of the game. Quick shout out to Executive Director John Grant of the Cricket Celebration Bowl, who popped in and gave us a shout out.
What's up, John? Thank you.
Okay, our producer threw up some future matchups. There we go. Great timing. As you can see, some of the future matchups. One already happened. Let's not
take that graphic down.
Take that graphic down. Thank you.
Take the graphic down.
Producer.
Take the graphic
it's
down.
Not the look.
It's the
anyway,
graphic.
Gotta love our producer. Look, I want to give a shout out again. I'll finish my. See that we lose producers on this. Look, Coach, we are we lose
We about
producers
to
on
run
this
a,
show.
we about to run a producer away.
Look, we produce this show almost every week, and so we get someone else in the mix. And I appreciate Roy producing the show. He do it differently than us, and we've been doing this for how long, Drew?
About a year.
7 years. A lot of it has been by ourselves, and so anyway, okay. We do this show by ourselves.
Wait, let's get back to what we were talking about before we.
I won't finish.
Shout out to John
the producer
Grant.
done left the room, Drew. We done drove the producer out the room.
And see that's why I got the control right here on this. Y'all see this iPad right here? I got the control on it too.
I bet. Look, anyway.
Hey, we still drunk on fun, y'all. We still drunk on fun.
Hey, you
All
deserve
right.
to. That was a good game.
Shout out John Grant.
Appreciate
Thank you.
John Grant. Thank you.
Great job.
Another great job.
Not only that, Band of the Year contest was great. I did make it to that. Also, the two bands that I predicted were going to win wound up winning, and they put on game changer, good performances. They had good shows, but I tell you, jumping off subject, Band of the Year, they actually did a fifth quarter after the Band of the Year contest.
Really?
Yes, that took me by surprise because after all four bands had did their performance.
Yeah.
And so
how'd that go?
And then they did a little close up with speech and everything. And I'm starting to pack up my stuff in the media area. And then A&T started it off, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Right. And then they went in the same. No, it wasn't A&T. They went in the same order that they actually performed on the field.
Okay.
With a fifth quarter.
Nice.
And they did a performance from the stands, even though I don't think that was graded as part of the Band of the Year contest. But it was just the fact that they did a stand performance.
Yeah. Also
gave the people a extra special treat for those who stayed around. And all you had to do was hang around for about 4 or 5 more minutes after they got done with the on the field ceremony. And they went through, and each band did one maybe, I think they did like one song a piece, because they all had about 5 minutes each to do a fifth quarter.
I would imagine that was, if knowing Mr. Grant like I know him, that was probably well planned. Yeah, I don't think that was just impromptu.
No, it wasn't. I know it wasn't impromptu.
Okay,
but it was not announced.
Right. Well, good. You don't need to, make it seem like it's a surprise and everybody's like, "Ooh," but
I thought that was a good. I thought that was a good touch.
That's the genius of John Grant
and that
put all this together. So, congrats to the Celebration Bowl 8 and Band of the Year 1. And it's a great build up for
the Roar
for next year.
The blue and green watching machine.
The blue and gold
watching machine.
Blue and gold watching machine of North Carolina A&T, who again, as I predicted, North Carolina A&T wins again in Atlanta. Jackson State loses again. I'm back to being petty. I'm sorry. I said it and I said it. So.
And FAMU wins twice by osmosis, because the FAMU alum
won the
director
exactly.
Of the Roar.
Yeah. Dr. Beckford, who leads the Roar, a former member of the Marching 100, a FAM alum. So we do what we do up there, and so just watch out. Okay, let's get back to this.
Hold on a second, Brian. Let me just put one emphasis on what you guys talking about with your band. Now, you guys weren't able to see it, but I was, and people that was at the house, people was at home who I saw this. The director of the NCAA, tall, thin, Caucasian guy, right?
He was there.
Yeah, he was there. And he came down, and right before halftime, he said something. He says, when I told people I was coming to this game here, he said, everyone says whatever you do, make sure you watch the halftime show. He said, so I want to watch. He said, so he looked at I think it might have been Tiffany. He said, what's so special about this halftime? And Tiffany smiled and said, we'll just wait and see. Right before the game started, read back up in the third quarter, Tiffany ran up to him and said, hey, what do you think? You could just tell he was, his eyes was like, whoa. His facial expression, he was like, I like that. I'm gonna make sure I come back to more. And I just said 2 thumbs up HBCUs, because he's the director of NCAA, Caucasian guy, and you could just tell he had a great time watching the band at the halftime. And he said, I'm going to make sure from now on I watch halftimes at HBCUs. And I would just take man like, okay. Okay.
Isn't it amazing? Last year you had Roger Goodell on the sideline experiencing, that game last year, which was an amazing game, goes to overtime. South Carolina State defeating Jackson State. This year you have the director of the NCAA there, and
the vice president.
Well, she knows about the culture. She knows, and
but
but that's not.
Hey, did you guys get a chance to meet her? Did you guys get a chance to meet her?
No.
Who?
No. Okay.
No.
I was just wondering if you guys got a chance to meet her. Because they showed a segment where they had like
we
people
not that
around
high
her.
on the total pole.
First off, we're not even close to even being one day we'll be able to maybe be close enough to see her walk by. That's I'm sure they wouldn't let us even be in the same space or the hallway that she might be walking down. So who knows? But just the fact that you've got these people who are getting a chance to kind of witness and see this culture that we all know so well is powerful.
Yes.
Hopefully it helps generate. Hopefully it's a sign to more advertisers and more dollars and more people that they can spend more with HBCU so that we can do more with more. And that's huge, and I'm sure, you got to imagine the NCAA directors coming saying, here's a bowl game in the FCS, but don't we have the FCS playoffs? And I'm sure he probably goes in with the thought wondering, how come these schools aren't in our playoffs? We have a playoff. And then he sees what he saw, and I'm sure he had to be thinking, oh, I get it. I understand now. He can't say it. He can't say it publicly, but I bet you anything, he's probably telling Dr. McClellan, I understand why you guys are not in the playoffs. Right. I get it.
And here's the thing, Brian. The Celebration Bowl, despite all its success and everything and all the events that are going around it, it's doesn't have that one thing that you get on campus, and that's the tailgating.
Right.
So although he experienced a lot of it, once you add that tailgating in with the RVs and the barbecue grills and everything else with it, man, you can sell somebody on that. Yeah. And I've got a question for everybody who, if you happen to be at the game yesterday, was there any difference in entering the stadium because of the extra security with Vice President Harris being there? Because we got there early, long before she would have come, and we were already inside the stadium when she arrived. But I was wondering, because I heard some people mention things about traffic, and which is with this Atlanta, so that don't mean nothing to me when you talk about traffic. Mm-hmm. But I was just curious if anybody who was there, who's on this podcast, had any experiences that they would like to share.
Put those in the chat room if you're watching on if you're on Facebook and on YouTube, and let us know. Okay, getting into the well, I don't think you can't. If you're watching on Twitter, you can hit us up. Our handles, usually there's a scroll. If producer finds the banner and runs the scroll, it's got our Twitter handles on it. You can always hit us up on Twitter. You can find me and Drew, or you could tweet the show at my BCSN1, the number one. Let's go into the second half. Okay, second half, 0-0 score. Third quarter, surprised the heck out of me, Coach. No points. If you had bet props, and this is one of the things we're going to do next year. Remember the year we did props at the Celebration Bowl, Drew? You remember that year? I think it was an A&T Alcorn game, right? Yes, no, maybe? No, just say no.
I mean, A&T Alcorn, there was like 3 of them. So which one we talking about?
Which one? All right. So anyway, but if you would have put props on, will there be a safety? Normally, like in the Super Bowl props are real big. So will there be a safety? That would have probably been big. You might have could have got like 2 or 3 to 1 on would there be on the yes. Yeah. You could have got plus money on the yes.
First safety in history.
Exactly. You would have cashed. Will there be a scoreless quarter by both teams? That prop usually pays in the plus. we had that too. We had a scoreless quarter. What else did we have?
We had the largest comeback in Celebration Bowl history. With FAMU trailing by 14 on its coming back to victory. That was the largest comeback in
the first
Celebration
safety
Bowl.
was the first safety.
First safety
as well in the
history.
Celebration Bowl history. Would a team score
defensive touchdown
would have got you some props. Cha-ching. So you had all these things that went on in this ball game, right? I mean, so I don't know, when you go back and look at last year's game versus this year, and this has been a heck of a 2 years of outstanding games. And then, of course, I think you had 3 years ago was
South Carolina State, Jackson State.
Well, no, let me go back then. Before COVID was the explosion game, the offensive explosion game.
Was that 18 or 19 though? I don't remember. But the one when they scored 100 points between the two. That
was after. That was after Raynard left, so that was 19.
Okay,
Jamie's in the chat. Jamie knows that.
Yeah,
that
it was either 18 or 19.
64 to 44.
When we had the basketball game break off in the stadium.
Yeah, that was 19. I bet you anything that was 19. So I mean, this is the amazing run of Celebration Bowl games that we have had. So I like I said, we got to do props next year. But Coach, okay, so here's again. We go into the fourth quarter. The score is still 16-10. Looking at the fourth quarter, so going into the drive chart here, we go into the fourth quarter. Howard has the ball. They end up going 3 and out, punting. Actually, it's just Howard's second drive of the half. They had a 12-play. Now get this. Howard in the third quarter had a 12-play, 19-yard drive that essentially took up nearly 7 minutes of game time, right? I mean, this is on the heels, of FAMU punting in the third quarter, and then FAMU going into the scored early in the fourth quarter after a 12-play, 83-yard drive.
And that one started in the third quarter, carried into the fourth quarter, and that took up an additional 7 minutes
7:38
of game clock.
Right. So Howard punts. FAMU gets their second touchdown in 3 plays, 70 yards. That was a Kelvin Dean 53-yard touchdown. And FAMU has rocketed from being down 6 to up. What are we up now? Let me see.
3.
Down 6 to up 8. Up 8. Up 8, yeah.
All right.
And those of us who, man, I tell you what, I was seeing it, Drew. I was seeing my bank account go up a little bit higher. Hey, Rossi, Coach, whoo, boy. And then all of a sudden, I about fainted on the next drive because, as you mentioned, that was the return. Howard gets the ball, goes 6 plays, 43 yards, and they kick a field goal, and then the pick 6.
And I've got a question after we talk about this pick 6.
So, from your perspective, when you saw the Howard pick 6, and we've talked about now in the fourth quarter, we've seen a touchdown, field goal, and another touchdown. We saw 17 points come up in less than half a quarter.
Yeah.
Talk about what you saw, Coach, on that interception by Howard and just that run up of the momentum going from Howard leading to FAMU leading to now Howard's back on top.
I saw your defense step up. I saw your defensive line putting pressure on the quarterback. I saw him get frustrated a little bit. He wasn't playing very well in the second half. I still don't know why the coach didn't exchange him. Maybe because I don't know he's a senior, maybe because he's a superstar. But me myself,
you're talking about Howard's quarterback?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh no, they were ride or die with Quentin Williams. There was no changing. He's a senior, 5th-year guy. There's no rider. They were riding
and he wasn't playing very well. Like I say, he wasn't. He messed up. He threw that pick a couple times. Besides the first half, there was a receiver downfield wide open. He had a running back in a flat. And I remember Jay Walker saying, if he just see that running back over there, what's this kid thinking? And I'm thinking, I don't know what. And I'm just talking like I'm sitting here watching TV. I'm thinking, I don't know what he's looking, but he ain't scanning the field or nothing like that. He wasn't. I don't know if he was upset, maybe because he got sacked once or twice. Excuse me, fella, or something like that. But he just wasn't playing very well. and the coach wasn't getting his attention like I would do, or like Coach Simmons did with Musa early in the game. And then you start to see a change. And I think the change was because your defense was revving up and they were 3-and-out, causing, cause that fumble, cause that pick. And your defense started to, I think your team started to generate off your defense, which is what they should do. Got a good defense. That quarterback, once again, I'm thinking, and I seen it somewhere later down the show where someone felt like me, like how, and I know what you just said, Brian, but they're like, why didn't they change quarterback? Because he really hurt him. He is who he is. He's a player, but at this point in time in the game, brother, it's all on the line, and we're trying to win this thing. We're here, not supposed to be here, but we're here, and you're not playing very well. So I got to do something as a coach. I got to do something. But the coach didn't do anything. He just sat there nice and calm, like he was okay with it. And I was just thinking, are you trying to win? Because
Coach, would you really hold on, Coach? You're telling me the guy who you have been riding with for the last 2 seasons, and here you are in this final game. You telling me that you would have thought about, even if it were a series, of making a quarterback change? Is that what you're telling me?
First of all, let me say this. I play two quarterbacks no matter what. So if I get into that type of situation, my other quarterback's already up. So if I got Frosty and AD ready and Frosty not playing really well, I'm putting AD in the game. He's used to being in the game because he's used to getting practice reps. So that's me right there. But yes, Brian, at this type of magnitude, we're not even supposed to be here. We're 6-5. We're not supposed to be here. We're playing the number 1 team in the country who's got everything going for them. And it's not a bad game. We're not playing bad, but we're not playing very well. So yes, I have to make a change as the head coach because this is my program. I'm the leader, and I got to go look at an AD and a president on Monday or Tuesday before I get in the car and go on Christmas break, and I got to tell them what was going on. I got to look at my team when everybody's upset, like, because it's going to be, man, Coach, how can we make a change? So, yeah, you have to be able to make those changes. Yeah, that's your guy. That's your man. He's been with you, but he wasn't playing very well. So if you can't get his attention like most coaches can, Frosty Norman, then I have to go with somebody else because you can see, one time after he threw a pick, he walked and he sat down. It almost looked like he was going to start crying because he knew he wasn't playing very well. And the camera was right on him. I hate when they do kids like that, but the camera's right on him. And you could just see his face. And he really wanted, he did everything he could to hold him back because he could tell, and we've all played. I don't know if you played basketball, football, whatever. You just know when you're not playing very well. And you know you're the reason why it's screwing up. And, like, we're going to lose this thing because of me. And you could see his face. He wanted to start shedding tears. He really did. And once again, I hate that camera was right on that brother. Because I'm thinking to myself, get out of his face. The kid's already feeling bad, and the camera just right on him. And he just put his head down like this, and you can see it. But as the coach, yes, man, we're at the big one. This is Celebration Bowl. This is why since January till now, this is why we've been practicing, running, lifting, jump roping, practicing, hitting, everything we've been doing. We beat North Carolina Central. We weren't supposed to, but we did. Now we're playing FAMU. So, hey, yeah, Brian, I got to sit him down because we're at the big one. And anyway, talk about it. And once again, I know we're not getting off subject, but yes, I would have to sit him down. Really, as much as I love the kid, and I thank you for the wins that you've been doing for me. I got to sit you down, young man, because you're not playing very well. And you can see it in his face. He probably wouldn't have debated you like, okay, coach, because he knew he wasn't playing very well. I'm telling you, go back and you watch that segment. And when he sat down and the camera's right there, just in the boy's face.
I saw it. We were sitting right next to the replay.
Yeah.
We were sitting right next to the Skycam booth. So I did see what you're talking about after one of those interceptions when he came and sat down. I know what you're talking about.
Wow. And he's probably thinking, we're about to lose this thing, and it's because of me, and I got to live with this for the rest of my life. And then the camera just sitting right there, and I'm thinking, that's not fair. Get out of his face, camera. Get out of his face. But, of course, they get paid to do stuff like that. But anyway, Brian, yes, I would have set him down. That pick really turned the momentum for you guys because for a minute there, your fan base was like up and down. Sometimes you guys up jumping around, then you're sitting down. And sometimes you're up and something down, then you're sitting down. But after that pick, I think you guys stood up for the rest of the game and didn't sit back down. I think you guys knew, okay, we got this one. Defense played up very well. They shut Lil James down. I think they gave him the ball 2 or 3 times in a row, and I don't think he got 3 yards. Defense was on him hard bad. Quarterback had nowhere to go. So I'm going to say late third, going into the fourth, you guys had momentum and you didn't give it up. I would like to ask this, because if I'm not mistaken, with 1:47, you guys did the victory celebration. You guys went into victory and just kneeled it. I didn't understand that. Me, myself, I'd go to a double tight I formation, just run downhill like Drew said earlier in the segment, 21-20.
You would have tried to score, Coach, wouldn't you?
No. I would have tried to score, but I would have just tried to eat some more of the clock off because you guys just sat there for a minute 47. You guys are feeling confident. I'm thinking, Right now, we're at a 3-point game. What was the final score? 23-26?
We had fam, you had to get
30.
one at that point you're talking about because Howard had a
drive right here.
timeout.
Yep.
Fab, you had to get one first down
Yeah.
before they could go with the victory formation, which is what they did.
They did.
Except, was it Jennings on that run who
Jennings,
ran out of bounds?
He went out of bounds, right?
Yes.
He
Jennings
ran,
forgot,
he went out
like,
of bounds.
I need to stay in bounds because
Yeah.
he ran out of bounds on the first down run.
Yeah.
So the clock was stopped, i.e. giving Howard essentially another timeout because
but there still wasn't enough.
But there still wasn't enough to force.
Yeah. So FAMU
turnover.
could kneel 3 times.
Yeah.
And they probably wouldn't have had to go 3 kneels.
Just
they
2.
could have probably gone 2.
Yes.
And yeah, but
right.
Yeah, he took it all the way to the 5. I was so hoping he was going in the end zone. I could, again, I'm working, so I had to keep my nerves. But I'm just thinking, go ahead, Jenny, please dive for the end zone. Yeah. But any of us who had -4, -6, -7, we're all thinking, go score. And then it's like, oh, we'll take the knee.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah.
Real quickly, I want to say something real quickly. Let's go back to the play where you guys got the ball. Musa, he's sitting back there, and the O-line just giving him time. He can scramble eggs, he can flip the pancakes, and he throws it to, I think it was number 88, and he fell down. He thought he caught it like on the 1, but the ball actually hit the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
They reviewed it, and they brought it back. But the very next play, he got the same thing. And this is what I'm saying for the offensive line. They gave him 2 plays in a row. Great protection. I mean, he was back there once again, scrambling eggs, drinking coffee. He had time, and then he seen the guy hit him, touchdown. So that was a good job by Musa and his golden arm he has. But them big boys up front gave him 2 good plays in a row. Want to talk about another play. This kid didn't have a lot of runs. I mean, I think they said he only had like 5-7 rushing yards, but he had 2 receiving touchdowns out the backfield because you guys weren't able to run the ball very well. But this one kid came in late in the game.
Kelvin Dean. Kelvin Dean.
Yeah. He did a good job of catching the ball out the backfield and making it happen there. Nothing against 23. He had some good hard runs, but he wasn't able to get loose like he did.
Wound up being MVP.
Who got MVP? That one kid, the running back?
Yeah,
Kelvin Dean
got the offensive MVP.
Yeah, because he scored 2 touchdowns. He scored both your touchdowns, right?
Yes.
Doing the
run.
run.
Who else showed up big for you guys? Who, once again, I saw FAMU 3 times, but I never saw this kid till yesterday. Was your tight end? He did a great job blocking.
Oh, he's been there.
He had 2 or 3 good catches. And I was like, who is this kid? And he's a big kid too. He's a big kid. I'm like, who is this kid here?
Yeah, number 81. No play.
They haven't featured him a whole lot, but
he didn't feature a lot, and that to me was the biggest play of the game. I was trying to find it. We're down 26-24, and I think if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it 4th down?
Yeah, it was a 4th down.
It was a 4th down play.
And across the middle.
Where was it? Where was that play?
Because he called it on around the 20, if I remember correct. Fab had the ball just inside the 40.
Yeah.
And went forward, and he got to about the 20-21 or something like that, just outside the red zone on the catch. I remember the play, and I can't remember which drive, but I definitely remember the play.
He had 2 or 3 good catches. I was like, wow. I never seen. I mean, I've seen Rainey and I've seen other receivers, but I never seen this kid. But that young man showed up yesterday for you guys.
Kamari Young caught that, and that was the play of the game for me as watching that play. I mean, the pick 6 almost turned into the play of game for Howard, and I would probably say that is Howard's play of the game because it put them in a position to win. It really did. Yeah. And then for FAMU, converting a 4th and 5 with a 20-yard pass play that's sick, ridiculous. Yeah. Great throw, great catch.
What that says is that your head coach has confidence in his team. That's what that says. The head coach has confidence in his team. That's what that says.
Let's go back to that pick 6 for a second. Coach Ferrasi.
Talk to me.
You just got a pick 6, which means you just took the momentum back in the game.
Yes.
You took the lead. You're up 25-24. Mm-hmm. 4th quarter. 7 minutes remain. I believe it was 7:09 if I got the time exact. Explain to me going for 1 instead of 2 because you're up 25-24 with the PAT coming. Obviously, if you get the 2 and score the 2, it puts you up a field goal where a field goal can only tie you, cannot beat you. And if you get the PAT, a field goal beats you. So in my opinion, 1 point does you no good that late in the 4th quarter. Every chart that I know of tells you to go for 2 at that point. talk to me about why you think Coach Scott may have gone for the 1 at that point instead of going for the 2.
Offense not playing very well. He knows his quarterback's frustrated. He's probably a little frustrated. And so if you go for 2 and you don't get it, now you have to point a finger. Okay. And so it's probably easier to just go for the 1. We know, excuse me, fellas, we know our field goal kicker's been kicking pretty well. We can get this. Come on now. We can get this done. Everything, excuse me. And so, it's probably just, let me get right there. There we go. Handsome. Hey, that guy. So anyway, once again, offense not playing very well. Quarterback's frustrated. So once again, if you go for 2, now you got to point a finger like, hey, what the heck? Or you got to look at your coordinator. You got to look at your quarterback. You got to look at yourself as a head coach. So it's just probably best, just safe thing, just go for 1. I'm thinking like you did. I'm thinking I would have I'd have jumped to a double tight I formation and went to my running back who still hadn't had a chance to get loose yet and say, hey, brother, we need you right now. Big fellas up front, we need you to push these guys back. But he's not me. I'm not him. But I'm thinking out loud, AD, just probably thinking just the 1 is probably the safer. And like you said, it's a good game. It's close. You still got time. So and your defense playing pretty well. Offense is one that's really hurting you right now. Defense still playing pretty well. So go ahead and go for the 1. You go for the 1 that now is what, 24-25 or something like that. I mean, it's close. So you're still right there. Nothing to panic. No, no need to, like I said, your collar getting tight. No need for none of that. We still got time. So go for 1 and let our defense get out there because our defense has been playing very well. Hopefully I can look at my quarterback and just have eye contact with him and say, hey, my friend, I need you to come on.
Speaking of the Howard defense, let's not sleep on the Howard defense because outside of the 1 drive when FAMU took like 7 minutes off of the clock, that was the one like really sustained drive by FAMU. But the rest, and this happened both ways. The rest of FAMU's points came because of the offense putting the defense in bad position, giving FAMU short fields, and consequently, the first 14 points that Howard scored, 1 came off special teams not covering properly, and the second one, the offense put the defense because of the fumble, and gave Howard's offense a short field. So when you take all that stuff out, both defenses actually performed pretty good. The offenses put both defense at bad positions at certain points in time during the game that the offense were able to take advantage of. Now, here I want to ask you about one other question before I turn it back over.
Hold on, before you ask the question, because I want to say that's a great point, Coach, you just brought up about the reasoning for not going for 2. And as I think back and you look at the score, and you just said it, those 2 scores were the only time that Howard's offense punched the ball in. That was their only 2 scores. Everything else was a result of defense and special teams.
Yes.
And so,
and those were on short field.
Yeah, exactly. In the fourth quarter, So, I mean, stats, the game was weird. I didn't really process that. I'm still drunk in the emotion of winning and all that. And now that you think about that, I'm drunk in the emotion. I was a little drunk afterwards, but I was drunk in the emotion of that game, and that I didn't even consider that. Howard's offense was pretty bad, and unfortunately, but their defense was great. Yeah. Special teams was good, and it is what we kind of said. If Howard is going to win, it's going to be because
defense and special teams
doesn't do what they're supposed to do on offense and special teams, and they opened the door. FAMU did to allow Howard
on the opening kickoff.
They opened the door and gave them a chance. And fortunately, when you have the number 1 defense in the FCS, the defense showed up when it had to show up in the second half.
Also, Brian, let's keep something else in mind. FAMU had 2 touchdowns come off the board via penalty.
Oh, yes, indeed.
One was a defensive score, one was an offensive score that came off via a penalty. But now, Coach, I do want to talk to you about one penalty in particular that a lot of people, including people who were up in the press area where I was at, did not understand the rule, know the rule. Live bullets flying. The muffed kickoff.
Keyword
in the fourth quarter. Keyword is being muffed.
muffed.
But first of all, establishing whether that was a muff or a fumble in live time. I think he touched the ball on about the 3 or 4 yard line.
3 yard line.
The ball rolled back into the end zone, and he goes with his back to the field of play, puts his hand on the ball, one knee. Obviously, in college ball, once you have a knee on the ground, the ball is dead. So he downed the ball, which it technically was a touchback at that point in time. And who was it that hit him?
My guy right here, number 13, Jalen Glaze.
Jalen
glazed him up.
Jalen Glaze.
Hey, glazed him up right there in the end zone. Boy, did he? Ooh,
and
geez.
originally, they called targeting. They just changed it to a regular personal foul. But originally, it was called targeting. Just talk to me. I hope you remember the play that I'm talking about. Just talk to me about that play.
What are you telling? Hold on. What are you telling kids? How should that? What are coaches coaching their kids to do on special teams in that situation?
Because you really don't know whether that's a muff, a fumble, if that's a live ball, and then especially his back is to you. I'm gonna be honest with you. After looking at the replay, although for safety, I definitely understand the call, but in the moment of it, I don't know if he really could tell whether he was in possession of that ball when he hit him. Go ahead, Coach.
On that particular moment, fellas, I was unable to see that play. I got a phone call. My mother had a stroke and went to the hospital. So my brother and sister was calling me, and I'm thinking that I got to get dressed and get out of here. But my sister's like, Mama said, you stay where you at. She's going to be fine. And I'm like, huh? So I missed that play right there. So I do apologize to you guys and the people in the chat room about that. She's okay. They called me this morning. They're going to let her go. Mom's old. She don't take very good care of herself, everything like that. But I talked to her this morning. She's like, I'm going to be okay for us. Are they going to let me out here tonight? I'm like, Mama, you need me to come up there? Because I just got through doing laundry. She's like, no, I'll call you when I get home. As soon as you get home, let me know, and I'll come over there. But I missed that play. But anyway, what we as coaches, what we're doing in that situation there is we're going after live balls because you just never know. It's better to be safe than sorry. So I heard you say targeting. I don't teach hitting the head. I tell my guys we don't hit in the heads. That's cowardly, but we go from the shoulder pads to the ankles. He's live. So if he got
Coach, he hit him. When they went back and showed the replay, he hit his shoulder. It was his shoulder to the back of the player. Now live, I understand why they threw the flag if you would have seen that play live, because with his back to him, and then you saw the neck kind of snap because of the hit. I thought they was targeted, or they was going to say defensive player. I honestly thought that's what they were going to go with live. But thankfully, calmer heads prevailed in the ruling. Yes, it did deserve a 15-yard penalty, but
which they only made a 10-yard.
Which I was going to talk about that. I was going to talk about that, but it did deserve to be a 15-yard penalty.
Did you ever get an answer on that? You know why that was only a 10?
I still don't. Besides the fact that I think they just
messed it
because
up.
of the heat of the moment, they just screwed that up and spotted the ball. Did the 15 from the 20 instead of the 25 because it was a kickoff, and they may have thought it was a punt.
Okay, let me get this right. The guy had his back to him, and the guy hit him anyway? Hello?
Go ahead, Coach.
Okay, I said, let me get this right. So you saying the guy had his back to him, and the guy hit him anyway in the end zone?
Yes.
Yeah, he hit. I mean, it's one of those. If you didn't
see it, you have to see it to understand. It's hard to explain.
You had to have seen it.
You would have had to have seen it. It was in the fourth quarter. You have to go back and actually look at it to understand what we're talking about.
I remember missing that. I remember hearing the commentator talk about it, but I had to get up. I walked to the front room because my TV's in my room, so I had to walk to the front room with my brother because my brother and sister calling me at the same time. I'm thinking, why are you guys calling me? And then when they told me what was going on, I was like, oh, okay, hold on, I'm on my way. Let me get my shoes on. And they're like, no. So, it's over. She's okay. But anyway, yeah, I didn't get to see that. I had to see that play, but you're not supposed to hit anybody with your back turned. I mean, I don't know any coach who teaches somebody that, and if so, they coach shouldn't be coaching because we're not here to hurt anyone. We're just here to play good football.
All right. All right. Let's get ready to sort of wrap it up here because I know we had a couple other news and note things we want to kind of do. And I don't want to be here
for a good time, not a long time.
We promised we weren't going to do a 3-hour show. So we can get a little long. Any other key points that maybe you didn't get a chance to talk about that you wanted to point out or that you saw in this game, and then I want to give you a chance, Coach, to quickly talk about what you saw from the first bowl game of the year, the Florida Beach Bowl, which I will confess I did not watch.
I tried to watch it.
Okay, leave it at that. Leave it at that.
I know a couple of the platforms did not go through.
You're
and
gonna throw someone under the bus. You better drive hard, or you're gonna let it go. Are you gonna drive hard? Or you gonna let it go? Don't wish wash here. Either drive hard or go away.
All I'm going to say is when I went to go find the game on my TV, my smart TV, that has the HBCU, that company's app downloaded to it, the game would not come up.
Okay.
I saw part of the pregame on my TV, and I'm talking about on my 65-inch. So after a while, I got frustrated, and I was like, let me try a different device. I tried my iPad, this iPad right here that you see, and the game was able to come up on my iPad. Another member of the Black College Sports Network family, I'm not going to call him out, was texting me back and forth like, bro, do you have the game on? I was like, I got it on my iPad, but I can't get it on my TV. And then
Coach Rossi, you got a better connection and better
hold
device than Drew.
Hold on.
Anyway,
Rossi was texting me too.
I-14.
Rossi was texting me too. And so I got the phone, I got the iPad, I got the TV, and between them, I couldn't get all of the work.
So
at
you
the same
weren't part
time.
of the 700-something thousand that saw it. Is that what you're telling me?
If you're talking about impressions,
I just said you were one of the 700,000 that saw it.
If you talk
your
about,
eyes weren't part of the 700,000.
if you're talking about
We're
impressions,
being messy right now. But go
if
ahead.
you're talking about impressions,
I'm just
or
asking.
actually now the 8 times that I had to log in may have counted.
See, I'm okay. I don't know.
But
Coach
I probably
saw it.
had about 12 to 15 impressions because every time I kept trying to log in from a different device, it probably counted a different IP address and everything like that.
Coach, you saw it. What did you see, Coach? Because
I saw a bunch of rain and about.
You saw it.
Good job trying to. But shout out to trying to put on an event.
Hey, real quickly, before we go to this game here, I want to say something that AD said last week. He said, if this is the game, do you leave it all on the field? Do you bring out your plays, your trick plays? And we did see 2 trick plays. We saw the reverse pass to Musa. I think that got called back. And good athletic ability by that young man there, the way he caught it and fell into the end zone, but it got called back. And then we saw the flea flicker. So I want to say, AD, you did call it because me myself, I don't really use trick plays. Not to say I'm better than the next coach, but I got an arsenal of artillery in my coaching bag. So I don't personally really use trick plays, but you did call it, and they both worked. I mean, I think one went for a touchdown, got called back, and the other, the flea flicker, went for a big play. So shout out to you for calling it. The Beach Bowl. Now, let's get back to the Beach Bowl. Raining, Wednesday. I did my homework. I texted AD, and I said, hey, I'm going to do my homework because I don't really know much about neither one of these teams. Both of these teams, if you go back and you do your homework the same as I did, the offensive line were both equal. Defensive line were equal. Both teams were 7-3. Special teams was equal, so you didn't really see who had an advantage. Like, only advantage I saw was Fort Valley threw for about 300 more yards than Johnson C. Smith. That was probably the only thing that stuck out to me. Okay,
I think Johnson C. intentionally was running the ball. I don't know if that was because of the weather or that was the game plan, but Johnson C. did not try to throw the ball hardly at all during that game.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Johnson, like I said, the only disadvantage that I saw was Fort Valley had like 300 more yards passing. Other than that, everything stat-wise was same. I think one team scored 25 touchdowns, the other team scored 28 touchdowns. So they were equal. So I'm thinking this was gonna be a good game, and it was a good game. At times it got kind of boring though, probably because of the rain. And although I love to run the ball, you can just tell that's what they're gonna do. Now I want to say something real quickly. The 2 young brothers that play for Johnson C. Smith, Tim Newman and Jacob Newman, they're brothers. Their father is the head coach at Virginia Lynchburg. Okay. Now, this was kind of cool to me. I don't have any sons. I wish I did because I'd have done the same thing. The coach at Virginia Lynchburg, his name is Tim Newman. He raised both his boys to play running back. He played running back. He played at Johnson C. Smith. Both his boys played at Johnson C. Smith. The quarterback, when the coach was there, Tim was there, is now the head coach at Johnson C. Smith. So he was the quarterback for the dad, turn around, hand the ball to the dad back in the day, because the dad, they say he was pretty good. He was 3-time all-conference. And now he's the coach of that guy's sons, turn around, hand the ball to both his sons. Both his sons are very talented, so he did a good job of raising them right, coaching them. And they're a big part of that offense, because when you talk about Johnson C. Smith, even the commentator all game long, he kept saying the Newman boys. And I'm thinking the Newman boys. And then finally when he said Jacob and Tim, and then later in the game, that's when it hit me. I'm thinking, okay, those, and the commentator said too, he said, in case anybody don't know, their father's the coach at Virginia Lynchburg. And I'm saying, oh, somebody said, well, how come the boys don't play for their dad? And I'm thinking, well, if you go play for your dad and you're playing, people are saying the only why you're playing is because your dad's head coach. Them young brothers pretty talented. Fort Valley, on the other hand, they got some big boys. Now, they're not as big as South Carolina, Southerns, or Howards, but both sides of the ball had some, 285, 315 type kids, 6'2", 6'3s. Wasn't nobody just real huge, but they weren't small. Yeah, AD, they had to run the ball because of the rain. I saw one play, special teams-wise, where the punter, it was in the end zone, and the holder snaps the ball right over the punter's head. Punter didn't even make effort for it. Me as a coach, I go a little ballistic, not throwing my head to nothing like that, but I'm calling both of them over here right now, because what's this high snap stuff, and why didn't you give effort? Because if you go back and you just see it, he just literally looked at it go over his head. I'm thinking, so you're not going to give effort? Everything like that. The score wasn't bad. It was a close game all the way. I think the rain had a lot to do with it. Neither team was able just to get busy, run the ball, because you tell that's what they wanted to do. Little Tim, Jacob scored in the third quarter for Johnson C. Smith. He had a little outside zone to the left, outside zone, and he stretched it outside and he broke it for about 10 yards. Other than that, they kicked a field goal. Other than that, they were kind of quiet. His brother Tim got most of the carries, but he didn't really was able to get down. Both teams played the run very well. Fort Valley's got a running back. I can't think of his name or number, but he was pretty much their workhorse. They're pretty much 80% of what they were trying to do. But Johnson C. Smith, held him in check. He had a couple good runs. He had a couple 8, 10, 12-yard runs. When I say a couple, maybe 2 or 3. Other than that, they kept him in handcuffs for the most of the game there. Was a good game, but like I said, at times you're just sitting there like, okay, I'm waiting for somebody to do something. And then for it to be a bowl game, they changed the name to the Beach Bowl. What was it before that? Because they talk about that used to be like the Division II Black College National Championship, the Patriot game or something. Anybody know?
There used to be a Pioneer Bowl way back in the day. It's probably been dead about 10 years.
Yeah.
This is the inaugural Beach Bowl. But I think the Pioneer Bowl died out around 2012, 2000.
That's what it was. I knew it started with a P. I said P, but it was a Pioneer Bowl. And they said this used to be the Division II Black College National Championship or something like that. And they re-bring it back as the Beach Bowl. But wasn't a lot of people in the crowd. Now, I don't want to hear people talking about rain, because when you guys played, who did you guys play in the rain a couple weeks ago? And it was a packed house. Okay, when you guys played PV in the rain, it was a packed house. Everybody stayed there, unlike they do at Tennessee State.
That was a home game, though.
Yeah,
that was it was two things. One, it was a championship game, and it was at Bragg,
and it wasn't Wednesday night.
And it wasn't Wednesday night, exactly. Yeah, none of those schools. I don't know what the alumni base of. I'm not going to speak on. I don't know the alumni base for Johnson C. or Fort Valley down in South Florida. So take that into consideration when you look at those numbers. So that's something that the bowl has to work on.
Yeah. You got to move that to a weekend, because that weekday really hurt. You take that into consideration. People do work. People got bills to pay. But it just the stadium was empty, because you can see the camera showing it. And I'm to myself, I'm like, stop showing that, because that's embarrassing to the bowl game. And whoever sponsors this game is going to be like, I'm not even going to put my money behind it because no one's coming out. So they got to figure out how to move it to a weekend. And but still, you want to support. I mean, now Langston's playing the game on Tuesday night. It's raining. I'm there screaming, yelling, because I love Langston. I got to tell my boss, hey, I got to cash in some of these work days I got, or anything of that sort, what I got to do. But I'm going to be there. So once again, I'm with you, Brian. I don't really know the support of what they have, but both teams were 7-3. That's a winning season. Both teams got good coaches. Both teams run the ball well. I mean, they were good teams, but the stadium was kind of empty, so I was kind of down about that. Like, come on, you guys, where we at?
Well, but think about this. You're going to see over the next 2 weeks bowl games on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the next 2 weeks. So bowl games are going to occur in a non-traditional college weekend.
But here's the difference, Brian. What do most people have over the next 2 weeks, especially post Christmas into New Year? Most places, usually, if you're at a factory that's shut down, a lot of jobs, unless you're in the service industry, most jobs usually have that time off from Christmas to New Year's.
I will counter what you're saying by saying this. And having been at bowl, this whole bowl thing, I've been at those trade shows where they make a lot of decisions. I met John Grant, talked to him, even sold him some merch at these bowl things. The bowl purpose is they're connecting with the community.
Yes.
It's not necessary. I mean,
To make
true, do
money.
they want alumni and fan engagement from the schools? Yes, but it's more so a connection with the community. So if the Bowls was able to provide the student athletes with things to do during the week in South Florida, give them an experience, something that they have not or would not normally get and you got to admit, both these schools didn't win their championship, didn't even play in their championship, didn't go to the playoffs. So if they got 72 hours to South Florida, and I don't think it rained all 72 hours in South Florida, they got a chance to go to the beach. They got a chance to they probably got a memorable experience. And then, hey, you get to play a football game, and it is what it is. But all the stuff leading up to the game is really what the bowl is about. So
and create people to come back in future times to spend their tax dollars.
Exactly. And you get people at the end of the year, you get people to spend their money that they're trying to spend before the end of the year. And again, student athletes, HBCUs, the CIAA, the SIC, it opens up a door to future things. And yes, there's no CIAA or SIC schools in not in South Florida, but the HBCU culture is, and the experience is spreading. And so you want to give your investors down in South Florida an opening to other things. And that's what that bowl is really, that's how I'm selling. If I'm the bowl organizer, that's what I'm selling to people. And so the crowd may not have been great. And hey, thankfully it rained because, hey, guess what I'm going to blame it on? Oh, it's the rain. The rain was poor. I'm not going to talk about it being on a Wednesday.
That rain was nothing nice.
Yeah,
it
exactly. So
you're right.
Blame it on the rain, whatever you want to do. I mean, you go from there. I know you know that one, Coach.
I think, I know that. But I think what they got to do is probably advertise it a little better. You don't know who's going to play in it, at the end.
First year, Coach. First year. There's a lot of things that they will do better, but let's not. I think we have to get out of. We want perfection from the get-go. Let's just. They did some things right. They didn't do
Southern Jaguars want perfection. They want the Celebration Bowl right now.
They're not gonna get that. They're not gonna get that. Let's just hope. Hey, Southern won the Bayou. Let's just stop right there. They won the Bayou.
Congratulations to Coach Graves. Congratulations to Coach Graves by being the new head coach at Southern. Kudos up there. Now, did Fred McNair take the Texas Southern job, or are they still up in the air?
It's still up in the air. We're going to talk about that in the next segment if we ever get off of this segment.
He's taking the job, Coach. He's taking the job. 90. If I had $1 in my pocket, I lost a lot of money on that game last night, so I don't have $1 in my pocket. But if I had $1 in my pocket, I would tell you Fred McNair is going to Texas Southern.
Hey, Brian, you may not have $1 in your pocket, but the guy next to you got a whole bunch, so dig in his pockets.
What'd you say?
I said you may not have $1 in your pocket, but the guy right next to you, he got a whole bunch of dollars in his pockets. So dig in his pockets.
Well, he looking away. So I don't know.
Okay.
I'm trying to see.
Hey, where you guys go? Why y'all blue? What happened? Hello? Oh, I'm doing the show by myself.
Know.
Hey, how you doing?
Somebody, we're still here.
That's
the
producer.
Something to signal. We're still here.
Hey, I thought he was giving me a little time to go ahead, shout it out. I was gonna be, okay, Black College Sports Network, Preston Norman. Everything like that. But I know you guys got to keep moving. Once again, I want to thank you guys for what you did for me this year. You helped me get a lot more famous than what I was coming back from Hawaii this way. Shout out to the 808, Allah Brothers. But I mean, I'm very well known now, more than I would. So Brian, that's up to you. AD, thank you for becoming a friend and calling me and keep telling me more about how this process worked, because at times I was getting frustrated, like what's going on. But now that the Celebration Bowl has come and gone, supposedly there's going to be some movement going on. Hopefully I'll get a phone call. I'll keep you guys updated with whatever's going on with me. Please pray for my mom. I love her. She's the only one I got left. My dad passed 2 years ago, and mom's not doing very well, so I'm gonna concentrate on her. But she knows I love football, and if a job came available, she helped me pack my bag. Like, boy, go on, because it's what you've been doing since you were 7. But once again, I just want to say shout out to you guys, the Black College Sport Network, Roy, and everybody who supported me. And I appreciate this. Really, I do. You guys have made me a lot more famous with Twitter, my LinkedIn, my emails. And so I definitely will stay in touch. Hopefully God's on my side and bless me in the next couple of weeks. But once again, whatever happens going forward is because of you two young men. And I thank you guys. And that goes to what we say, how Black people support one another. Because once again, I was living in Hawaii with a dream of coaching again. And I contacted Bryan. He sent me his phone number. We talked. And hey, here we are today. So Bryan, thank you. And once again, AD, shout out, brother, because every time I call, you answer, and I appreciate that. I need you to become an AD so we can win a damn national championship. Okay? All right.
Appreciate you, my brother.
Be safe now.
We'll
let you know what we're gonna do next weekend, because with it being Christmas Eve on Sunday, we're gonna adjust our show time, and we'll get with you sometime during the week so we can make sure we coordinate.
Hey, fellas, I'm with you anytime you need me, you know what I'm saying, like that. But I didn't know if we was going to do something again, or y'all was getting ready to roll to the basketball. But anytime you need me, you know you can call me, and I'm there for you.
Now, we're going to let you close out the season with us, because that'll be our year-end closeout right there. We're going to definitely let you close that out with us, my brother.
Hey, man, I'm there. And once again, thank you, too. I really do appreciate y'all, and I look forward to getting with y'all throughout the week.
Thank you, Coach. You really made a difference this year. With our show, it's been a great addition to our Sunday show. Appreciate all your expertise, your advice, your opinions. It's been a pleasure. So I'm hopeful, praying that some coach, and I know there are a lot out there who are looking for some people. You're looking for a good man. There's none finer than Coach Ferrasi Norman, and he will be an asset to your program. Should you choose to bring him in. And if not, Coach Frost will be right here again next season. But we want Coach to be out there and get in working. So that way we that's what we want more than anything. So we'll be in touch, Coach. Happy holidays. Prayers to your mom. And be well, my brother. All right.
Hey, you guys enjoy the rest of the show. Take care. I'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Coach Ferrasi Norman. All right.
Break.
All right, Drew wants to take a break.
Yeah.
So we'll take a short break, come back, news and notes. We'll talk about coaching around the HBCU diaspora. That's a hot topic this past week. And then we'll talk about some basketball news and notes, because we got a lot of stuff happening in the basketball world. And so it's time to start getting caught up with what's going on in basketball. So if you've been behind on what's been going on with basketball, we'll go through a few of the highlights and the highs that have been going on of late. So you're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is Brian Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN SportsWrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN SportsWrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
I'm returning to Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being heard.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time-consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em! It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and A.D. here. Appreciate all of you guys for jumping in and joining us. However, you're streaming the show on X via one of our pages, either the My BCSN 1, maybe the ONG Strike Zone where you're checking us out, on Facebook, on the Black College Sports Network, our BCSN SportsWrap page, our Jericho Broadcasting page, or maybe YouTube, via YouTube, my JBN, or our BCSN page. So we appreciate you tuning in however you are. We'll announce later this week our Black College Sports Network national champions, but fortunately I can say I'm pretty confident that the computers will be controversy-free with its selections. I don't think there would be much of a change at the top.
Let's see if the computers make Howard or Central number two. That's what I want to see when the numbers get ran.
I'll probably go the computer. My guess, the computer will make Central 2. Just a guess. I mean, who knows? But we'll wait to see. Obviously, so I mean the regulars. But when we last ended the poll, Benedict was 1,
Virginia Union was 2
Right.
at that level.
Or on that level, on the non-Division I side, and then FAMU was 1.
Central was 2.
And Central
Howard was
2.
3.
And Howard's 3. I don't think that, my guess, I don't think that'll change. But again, we'll release that all. But on the field, undisputed year, 45 years to the day that, thank you, Tamara T. Appreciate the love. Appreciate it. 45 years to the day that Florida A&M won the 1AA at that time, later known as FCS.
1978
national championship.
I can't get no love, Tamara, for the jersey?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to.
45 years to the day. I would have loved for I'm that guy. I see and think about all these things. I know FAMU went with the color uniform combinations that they started the season with: white helmets,
green top,
white pants. Notice the white stripe or the orange and green stripe on the side of the pants. So it wasn't just plain white. It was. I would have loved that they would have gone with the orange helmets. The orange helmets would have been, and so the orange helmets, green jerseys, white pants look is what we wore when we won the national championship 45 years ago. That's the only thing I would have loved to have
the same
seen,
combination.
The same combination 45 years ago. And those of us who are into uniform swag and pay attention to those little things, I know
the literal throwback.
Yeah, we would have loved to have seen that as well.
Let's also remember, I believe it was 52 years to the day, 1971, when Howard won the NCAA soccer championship, was also an anniversary from yesterday.
So something historic was going to be done in one
synergy,
way.
Yes,
there was going to be a little synergy thing in one respect. Yeah,
yes, I believe that was 1971. It was 1971 and 1973 when it was an odd year.
It was an odd year.
It was an odd year, so I do remember that.
Other little the attendance at the game was
41 and some change.
Hold on, I just had it pulled up. 41,108 was the attendance. The game took 3 hours and 48 minutes. Good time for the game. I look forward to going back and watching it on the replay of the broadcast.
It watched me this morning.
It did, yeah.
Because it actually came on the U at I believe 5 o'clock this morning. I just happened to wake up and started watching. They cut it down to 2.5 hours on the U on the replay. And like I say, I think it watched me till about the fourth quarter when I was conscious and actually started watching it from about 7 something on this morning.
Right.
Replay.
41,000, I think, is the third largest attendance. I think the last 2 years touched over 48 and 49. So this would now make 3 consecutive years that the Celebration Bowl has drawn 40 plus.
Yes,
which is great. There you go. You got a shout out, Drew.
Appreciate you, Tam.
So yeah, that's awesome for 41,000 fans to show. 30,000 easily. I think
green and orange,
orange and green. Yeah, for FAMU. And I hope that my hope from this game again is that in order for FAMU to continue to be champions, Rattler Nation has to invest and donate. You hopefully spent at least a moment, and if you didn't do it yesterday, hopefully they do it today.
Hey Brian, not to cut you off, but isn't that a speech for the ONG Strike Zone?
I'm going to use this platform that I have right here in this moment, and I'm going to also tell Howard Bison fans, whatever, Howard alums, take that moment in that day. You should have, hopefully engaged and donated to your athletic department. I know Howard's got this great endowment that we always hear about. I don't know how that bleeds over into athletics. I don't. So I'm sure their athletic department's budget needs support as well. So I just hope the schools, Howard alums, FAMU alums, fans, engage, even if it's the same dollar amount as the year in which your school was founded. Donate that money, that amount, that 1887, or when was Howard founded?
19
18 something. It was 18 something.
I don't remember.
All right. Anyway, 18 something, in which Howard was founded. Spend that money, send that money into the coffers of your athletic department or your fundraising, so that way it shows up and pays out.
I'm also interested to see one other thing.
1867.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right. And Mary hit it at the same time that our producer Roy was telling us. But I want to see one other thing, Brian. I want to see the uptick in applications for both of these two fine institutions based on this, because we know every time a team goes to the Celebration Bowl, there's always an uptick in student applications for that institution, and obviously acceptance. But in order for these universities to be prepared for this uptick in applications and to accept these students, we have got to increase our level of donating, which is going back to the point that you were making there, Brian. We have got to support these two institutions. And like I say, I want to see not only the raw numbers, but the percentage of uptick.
Go one step further with that, Drew. How about making it possible for these students to live in dorms and on campus? Increase, housing.
That's one of those things that I was telling you. Yeah, I'm talking about that.
So
the money
you can increase. Look, the applications are great,
but you ain't got nowhere to put them.
If you don't have a place for them, or you can't create more class opportunities, what does it do then? Well,
you need the professors, you need the classrooms, you need the other support services, everything that goes up with increasing the numbers. Take
advantage of these opportunities, and sometimes it can be as simple as giving into. We'll get into later talking about the finances of this bowl and finding out how all of that works. I don't want to get into that today because but I think there is something. Yes,
online classes are fine. Online classes are fine, but the true HBCU experience is on campus. And one of the things is online does not bring the same type of revenue to the institution that a on campus student brings. But let's also keep that in the same perspective. It doesn't cost as much to educate a student online as it does to educate a student on campus. So it has its good and its bad with the online classes. But if we're going to offer online classes, we also need to have the support systems in place for online classes.
Right. And that CARES Act is gone there. So Blue Jacket for Life brings up a great point about the CARES Act that gave FAMU $99 million. That and a lot, and a portion of that ended up going into athletics. That's not there anymore, to my understanding,
and not coming back.
Not coming back. So we have to find other ways. We have to create other ways. Okay, we'll talk. You know what? Next week's show, Christmas wish list, our HBCU Christmas wish list. That's what we're going. So a lot of this stuff you might hear next week.
And we're going to do our year-end show also, a wrap up. We're going to talk about some of that.
We can try.
We get some of it out
with
the way.
Some of it we can try.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk coaching news. Coaching news this past week, because we only have a little bit of time left and want to make sure to get into some of this coaching scramble that's going on. All right. As going into the week, last week when you did the show, and great job, by the way, you, if I recall,
in the dark,
in
the rain.
Yeah, you. I saw Jamie. I saw Coach Ferrasi. I saw Trevin Jones. Who else joined you?
Keith.
Keith from Fangs Up podcast. Yeah. So shout out to everybody who jumped in.
See, it take 5 people to replace you, man.
Well, that's nice. So Teddy Keaton was the only coach at the of all the coaching openings that there were. He was the one that first, I don't know if we want to say the first big domino, but it was a domino. He was a domino in trying to figure out who was going to fill the Clark role. He left Allen University to go to Clark.
And then the weekend on Friday of the week before the show, that's when Chennis Berry took the job with South Carolina State. He took it on Friday. That was announced Friday afternoon.
But it became okay. But the press conference
wasn't until the following week, but it was announced on Friday afternoon that Chennis Berry was going to be the new coach.
Right. So
a week from last Friday.
And at the same time, I know South Carolina State announced their new athletic director as well, who's a South Carolina State alum. So when they did that press conference, I think it was Wednesday. Yeah. You know, they introduced a new AD, introduced Coach Berry, and so South Carolina State, that's a big win for them. I mean, they get their man. That's who they wanted. That's who they wanted, and that's what they got.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember back in October, I said that there was going to be one, if not two, vacancies in Columbia, South Carolina at the end of this football season. Well, that has come true.
Bingo, you got that. You hit that one.
I hit that one on the head.
Also announced earlier in this week, Terrence Graves, the only man to win the Bayou Classic for two different schools, for both schools, was officially announced as Southern's head coach. Listen to the press conference, watch that. I am so curious, and I told Carlos Brown. And hopefully you got a chance to watch Carlos's show Saturday, because I know they got into talking. I think he maybe even had Coach Graves on the show yesterday. I don't know for sure, because I know
because we
were there for Carlos for a segment, and then we had to start getting ready, so I didn't get a chance to watch the last hour of Carlos's show. But I'm very interested, and that's an upcoming show. I'm giving y'all a heads up now. I'm gonna just do a podcast with him, Mo, and who else I said? BJ, because I want to understand Southern culture, because there were things that were said in that press conference that I was sitting there thinking, didn't y'all just have that with Eric Dooley? I'm like, y'all wanted Eric Dooley. The stuff y'all were talking, where did Eric Dooley go wrong? So look, you got your guy. They got a good. So the power of the fan base is maybe the big story at Southern. I mean,
isn't that the same thing that happened to
who?
Prior to Dooley?
Who? Yeah. Well, okay. That's a great, and that's part of the conversation. Yes, if that's what hurt Dawson Odoms. Or even who was there was an interim the whole year.
Because
Jason
was originally a interim, if I remember correctly.
He was initially interim, then he became the full time. I can't even remember the coach who was there. Jason something. He was there for a whole year.
Now, when was Stump Mitchell?
He was before Odom. But I mean, I just you want to understand the culture of a program like Southern, and so I think that's what I wanted to kind of to learn more about. So I think it's just as much a project for me to try to understand Southern culture and just try to understand what they're looking for. But they seem to like Graves. They like Graves, and the players like Graves. They like the whole hat to the side thing, and it's like, hey, we got our guy. So okay, congratulations to Southern. They got a defensive guy. Cedric Pearl, former Alabama A&M assistant, former head coach at Central State. He is now the head coach at Allen University. He'd been an assistant at, forgot where the past couple years. Where was he coming from? Anyway, I forgot where Pearl is coming from, but he takes over at Allen University. Very, it's been a few years where he was previously in the SIC.
Yeah. And moving on to the next coach, here's the question. And this kind of goes to the Southern question. What has Fred done to Alcorn? Where the man won, what, 3, 4?
So
wait a minute. How many SWAC East titles did he win before Alcorn switched over? How many SWAC titles did he win before Alcorn switched over to the West. And how much support has he gotten in spite of him winning those championships? Now, he didn't get the big one. He didn't get the Celebration Bowl, but he handled his business within the conference until they switched sides of the conferences. But for some reason, people have not been happy with Fred in Mississippi. So
Fred McNair
is in Norman, Mississippi, and now will he? Won't he? The wind is blowing him south.
I'm saying he's gone west, more so west.
Okay,
southwest.
Okay,
yeah, southwest.
So here's the thing: with Fred probably going to
Texas Southern,
yeah, who now is the senior, and with Buddy Pugh retiring, because I think we've seen the end of a generation of the long-time coaches.
How long was Fred McNair at Alcorn? 9 seasons, including the COVID year?
I believe he was 14 or 16 when he took over. I want to say it was 14.
I think it was 14.
I've got it right here because I had it pulled up earlier. Let's see. Alcorn 16. Fred took over in 16.
Okay, so let's see.
Fred is the
8 seasons. 8 seasons.
Fred is the longest tenured coach in the SWAC.
Right. So he came in and won, and he's won championships. How many SWAC titles does he have under his belt as the head coach?
He won the 3-4 in a row.
Yeah. Something like that. Well, they won the West 6 seasons in a row.
Right.
But I think the first 2 years.
Grambling won the SWAC the first 2 years. Then Alcorn won the next 4, if I remember it correctly.
Okay. Something of that nature. But
because Grambling was in the first 2 Celebration Bowls, then Alcorn went for the stretch up until the pandemic. There had only been 2 representatives from the SWAC, if I remember correctly, in the Celebration Bowl prior to the pandemic. Grambling, and Alcorn were the only 2 representatives from the SWAC in the Celebration Bowl.
You might be right. I mean,
prior to the pandemic.
Pull up the. I don't know. There's got to be a quick history thing you can pull up. But let me. Fred McNair going to Texas Southern is huge from a couple of points here. I think potentially what that does in Houston, it's continually taking a step forward for Texas Southern. And if he takes that job, which by all accounts, it sounds like the money is going to be what he wants it. I don't think Alcorn may have come back later in being able to find the money that he wants. I know there was a big gap between what Fred wanted and what Alcorn was going to pay. I've also heard that there are donors who may want a change. What's the numbers there?
Alcorn went to 3. Grambling went to 2. Alcorn went to 1.
So
4 and 5. Grambling went to CB 2 and 3.
First Celebration Bowl was Alcorn, correct?
Right.
That was Fred McNair as the head coach?
Grambling went to no. That would not have been
that
McNair.
Was Jay Hobson as the head coach? Okay,
yes.
So then he took over
for
the next year.
Yeah,
and then that's
he went to
Grambling 2. Came in and
won 2 in a row.
Won
2 SWAC championships in a row.
Won 2 SWAC championships in a row.
Right. Then Alcorn won the next 2 SWAC
Fred
championships.
Finally came in and won two SWAC championships. So, but I think Alcorn was in the championship game against Grambling, if I'm not mistaken.
Alcorn was in championship game those years.
Yeah. So now you want to use this longest tenure at one school thing. So now that leaves Willie Simmons. I think you said who? Willie Simmons
and Connell Maynor.
Connell Maynor at one institution
in the SWAC.
But in general, at HBCU,
and I think the HBCU leaders.
I think if we go through the HBCU,
Trey Oliver would be the clubhouse leader with Buddy Pugh retiring in the BIAC.
Trey's only been there 4 years though,
and he's the clubhouse leader. Trey Oliver is the only head coach currently in the BIAC who had their job before the pandemic.
Wow. So that's amazing. But just think of that tells you the turnover. That tells you, I think, if anything, that shows you the impatience of fan bases. I think it also shows you the challenge that athletic directors are having to deal with, presidents as well, because nobody's waiting for the meal to fully cook.
They want to put it in the microwave. They don't go put it in the oven.
To rise. You want to put it in the microwave. You want to just go and get it store bought. You think that's going to do it? No, it's not going to do it. That's the challenge. Right. That's the challenge for all these schools.
Just quickly, since we're talking about them, in the CIAA, Richard Hayes at Fayetteville State and Adrian Jones at Shaw 2016
same as Fred
lead the clubhouse in the CIAA, and nobody in SIAC had their job prior to the pandemic. I'll just go ahead and tell you that.
All right, so as of me waking up this morning, the open jobs you had, Grambling, we'll talk about that, as it appears they may have found their man. Alcorn is quote unquote not officially open, but we think it's open.
Going to open.
It's open. Benedict is open. Morehouse is open. Lincoln, Missouri is open. Speaking of Grambling, HBCU Sports reporting. I'm here reading an article from Ken Rashad. Ken says that Mickey Joseph is going to be named the new head coach at Grambling. Joseph is a former Nebraska interim head coach and a seasoned coach with extensive college football experience, that he will be announced. That appears to be Monday. Is that when the official announcement will come at 10 a.m.? Joseph, who served as Nebraska's interim head coach in 2022, led the Huskers to a 3-6 record during his time. Ooh, and then there's some other stuff in here about some interesting. I'm just reading right from the article here. He was arrested and charged with one felony count of assault by strangulation last December relating to an alleged domestic violence incidents with his wife, and was placed on administrative leave by Nebraska. Those charges were later dropped. Before his time at Nebraska, Joseph had significant contributions to LSU's football program, where he was part of the 2019 national championship staff. His coaching span of 3 decades includes stints at Grambling, Alcorn, and Langston University. As a player, he was a standout quarterback at Nebraska. He was a part of a team that won 2 Big 8 titles and appeared in multiple bowl games. So that is the expected hire. And this, again, is coming from HBCUsports.com, reported on by Ken Rashad. So, we'll wait to see what happens. We'll wait to see what those other jobs are. Anything you want to add more about the coaching search here before you shift over to basketball here in these final moments of the show?
I just want to throw out NAIA clubhouse leader for coaching tenure among HBCU coaches, Quentin Morgan at Langston, 2016. So 2016 looks to be the hot year for our coaching search right now, which means nobody will have been on their job for a decade once Fred makes that move. Well, even with Fred making that move, we still, with the retirement of Buddy Pugh, there's nobody who's been at their job for over a decade now.
It really, again, I think it really says something that you said nobody over a decade right now, nobody over a decade with Buddy Pugh retired. And then if you look at over 5 years, the list is maybe a handful of people.
Basically, you got 2 lists. You got pre-pandemic, post-pandemic.
Wow.
And the pre-pandemic is probably about a 3-to-1, maybe even a 4-to-1 ratio than the pre-pandemic coaches.
Wow.
And what also happened around the same time as the pandemic, that's when you also had the portal and NIL come in. And I think those may be the reasons why some of the old school coaches who did not want to deal with it got out of the business. And that's why you have some of these younger people who not only understand that, but social media and recruiting in this day and age. Because I mean, when you see coaches, lifers like like Coach Freeman, who was at Morehouse, Coach Slater, who was at Tuskegee on the Division II level. You see a guy like a Buddy Pugh give it up. You see some of these coaches who've been with their programs forever and help build their programs giving it up, maybe because either they didn't understand the new technology and the new way of recruiting, or did not want to deal with it and had enough put away and went to the farm and decided to go ahead and grow their own crops, as I like to say.
All right. Okay, so let's transition here a second over to basketball before we get ready to end this show. First off, I'm gonna give a shout out to Coach Lavelle Moten, who on Friday became North Carolina Central University's winningest head basketball coach. On Friday, Central got a 102-50 victory over St. Andrews for Coach Moten's 252nd win to push him past Floyd Brown for the most wins in program history. Brown won 250 games from 1952 to 1970. I'm reading here this article here from Chris Stevens over at HBCUSports.com. Moten, of course, has been the head coach of his alma mater since the 2009-2010 season. And
if we get them in basketball, we don't get them in football.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sidebar. Hurry up. We got to get out of here. We got 3 minutes we got 3 minutes to sign off.
All right. So I'm just kind of looking here. Moten, of course, was a star for the Eagles under then coach Greg Jackson from 92 to 1996, scoring 1,714 points in 4 years and earning all CIAA first-team honors in 95 and 96. And so congratulations to Coach Moten on making history. Okay, some news and notes. Let's go. Let's talk. I just want to, let me see. I'm going to go through just a roll call of things here. Division II men's. Let's talk men's first. Okay, men's basketball. Did you know, you guys out there may not have known, Benedict College. Benedict is undefeated right now, 10-0, 5-0 in SIAC, currently ranked 12th in the nation in Division II, according to the NABC coaches poll, ranked 16th. Ranked 16th in the media. So Benedict College, undefeated team. Their next game is not until January 4th. I think they just played a game the other day.
They played Miles on yesterday.
They played Miles yesterday to pick up their 10th win. Of course, you will be able to see all of Benedict's action upcoming in their next home game.
Defeated Miles 70-67.
Okay, I was like, what are you showing me? I see an L there. I was like, what is that? Benedict, of course, part of the Black College Sports Network broadcast group.
And Miles.
We're talking Benedict College here. Benedict, you'll be able to watch all of Benedict's games.
We got 1 minute.
Their home games here. I'm not going to get finished in a minute, so I'm just telling you that now. Because you filibustered in by talking about some other stuff. But anyway. So shout out to Benedict College. You'll get a chance to see them upcoming here. Also, from the CIAA, how about Winston-Salem, currently with the best record in the CIAA men's, currently 9-3, 3-0 in conference play. That's right. Conference play is happening right now in the CIAA.
On the Division II level.
In the SIC Division II level. It's also happening at the NAIA level, where Langston University, our good friend, Coach Chris Wright, friend of the program, the Langston Light, he's off to another unbeaten start, Coach Drew. He's 10-0 so far, 5-0 in conference play. Langston, I believe, started ranked 4th in the nation, the NAIA preseason.
I think they're up to 2.
The latest poll that came out earlier this week, December 13th, they're up to number 2.
Yeah, and their polls only come out every 2 weeks.
Yeah, the polls come out every 2 weeks. So they are still unbeaten. Their next game is December 19th. That is Tuesday versus LSU Shreveport in Fort Worth, Texas at 2:00. I think that might be some kind of shootout thing that's happening. It's not a conference game.
Yeah, because that's against that's a Red River Conference team, LSU Shreveport's in the Red River.
Okay, so it might be one of those crossover.
Yeah, which is where Xavier and all those Texas HBCUs are at.
Okay. Speaking of that NAIA poll, Xavier University found themselves in that poll. They're ranked 21st, and Florida Memorial found themselves ranked 22nd. Xavier at that time had a record of 6-1. Florida Memorial at that time when that poll came out had a record of 9-1. On the women's side at the D2 or NAIA level, just a shout out to Fayetteville State. Big game happened yesterday between Fayetteville State and Virginia State. Fayetteville State came in with just one loss, 7-1. Virginia State was 9-0 going into that game. Notice I just gave it away. They lost. Fayetteville State defeated Virginia State 78-69 yesterday. So they gave Virginia State their first loss of the season after a 9-game winning streak to open. Fayetteville State now has an 8-1 record. Also, take note of Virginia Union. Their women are 9-2 right now, 3-0. So the CIAA women is going to be fun to watch at that level. Over in the SIC, take note of Kentucky State. Their women right now are 8-1, 5-0 in conference play. Miles women 6-1, 4-0 in conference play, and you'll be able to see Miles women right on the Black College Sports Network, as Miles is a partner school and will be broadcasting a lot of their games. Got to make a mention on the NAIA level about Maya Buchanan of Fisk University, who was the NAIA Women's Basketball Player of the Week this past week. The power forward recorded a double 20.
2020 game.
A 2020 game. And
then she had a double-double, if I also remember that in her other game of the week.
Right. She had 26 points and 23 rebounds against Wiley College. Then she had a double-double, scoring 25 points and 10 rebounds double in all three contests. She posted a 57.1 field goal percentage on the week, added 6 blocks to her stat line, along with 1 steal. So congratulations to them. Last night was the Chris Paul HBCU Classic in Vegas. North Carolina A&T gets their first win of the season against Texas Southern, 85-79. A bit of a down year for the Aggies. I don't know what Texas Southern's record. Oh, yeah, Texas Southern having a bit of a down year as well. Well, who knows?
It's not conference season, though.
I was going to say.
Texas Southern, Prairie View. Come conference, one of them always going to be there.
Right. So this was a game where somebody was going to get their first win.
Remember, they came from 8 last year to win the doggone tournament.
Somebody was going to get their first win. It turned out it was North Carolina A&T. What was the other game that was? That was
Jackson State and Howard. That game watched me when I got back to the hotel.
Who ended up winning that ball game?
I said the game watched me when I got back to the hotel last night, because it didn't start until midnight Eastern.
I think I saw Jackson State. Oh no, our girl Liv, Liv Antilla. I think she tweeted out Jackson State won that contest, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I did happen to catch her tweet about that.
And I know Dr. Cavill is live on location in Las Vegas today. As he went from Atlanta to Las Vegas to cover the Chris Paul Classic.
One thing in the men's basketball rankings, taking note of one thing here, Drew, in the SWAC, the conference RPI for the SWAC got as high as 24. It's now down to 25. So, you know, we need to see some teams kind of stack up some wins here. If I can find the MEAC here.
So at 25, that puts us probably on the 15 line right now.
Yeah, the MEAC comes in at 30. So that's probably
that's first 4.
Yeah, that's first 4 competition right there. Even though the MEAC really has won more conference games, but I think the nature of the wins from the SWAC teams has been considerably better
SWAC has been a few Power Fives and group I guess we call them Group of Fives, or what do we call them in basketball?
I always go with Power Six.
Yeah, Power Six and bid majors. They've beaten other bid majors.
Over on the women's side, the SWAC conference rating for the women is at 12. It was as high as 11 last week.
Wow.
So 12. That's what would you say? That's about an 11 seed, wouldn't you say?
Go ahead, divide it by 4. That would be if you just went by conference, that would be that's 3 right there. But probably
the first 10 spots are usually first 10 rankings. 10 times 4, that's 40 teams. The first 40 teams are all your power and RPI, your power teams, right?
Right. Well, I was saying conference rate, that's probably going to get you, I don't know. You're probably right. You're probably in probably about a 5 line right there with that.
In terms of net rating, now the net is what's going to push somebody forward. Jackson State has a net ranking of 120. Arkansas Pine Bluff 157. The best record currently standing is Bethune-Cookman with, now I'm going to say this and people are going to be like, that's not their record. Against Division I opponents, Bethune-Cookman's record is 4-3, which is the best in the conference. Alabama A&M with a 3-4 record. But you've got only 3 schools within the SWAC are winless in terms of playing other Division I opponents. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive. In comparison, the MEAC has a 28 conference RPI. Again, may have won more games, but when you go to quality opponents, and here, let me underscore this. How about Norfolk State? Norfolk State has a record against Division I opponents, and we're talking women, 7-4, but their net rank is 173. Again, what did I tell you? Jackson State's rank is?
They're playing those quad 4 games.
Yeah. Norfolk State 0-2 against quad 1 opponents. They are, and Maryland Eastern Shore is 5-5 against Division I opponents. They have a net ranking of 198.
Looks like no one has a quad 1 victory in the MEAC.
No. Did anybody have? Let me see. I didn't even look at that in terms of the SWAC women. Were there some quad 1 wins?
I'm just looking to see.
Quad 1 wins. No, they're none either for the SWAC, but I'm sure there's probably a couple of quad 2s.
Right.
Might even been some quad 3s. So what we'll do down the road here next week or the week after, we'll really open up the box and give you guys some more perspective on what those of you who aren't familiar with the net and how the rankings and seeding, because I think it's real important once we finish the non-conference schedule here in these next week or two, in the SWAC and MEAC and even over in the OVC where Tennessee State is, we can really kind of talk about projections for these schools. Yeah?
Yes.
All right. All right. Just a little bit of overtime. Just a little bit over 2 hours. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to get out of here.
Pick up the show and get out of here.
All right. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you to everybody and get me sick. Anyway, thank you to everybody who hopped in and joined us.
I got my shots.
You did. I did too. My flu shot, by the way. Thank you to everybody who jumped in and watched us. Again, on behalf of all of our shows and our host and our correspondents and our camera people, everyone who was a part of the Black College Sports team, I'm thankful for all of them, and I'm thankful for all of you for watching our content over these past 4 days, something like that, since Wednesday.
Hey, Brian, maybe about Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll actually release our numbers and see what our numbers look like. We'll wait till they register in to see what our numbers look like. I'm
not into all that, but okay.
You think we're going to get 1 million?
We just throw some numbers out there and let y'all respond to them. I mean, hell, let's throw a graphic. Hey, boss, let's put a graphic together and throw some numbers out there. I mean, hell, why not? I mean, everybody else seems to do it, and it kind of gets clicks and gets people excited and lathered up. So hell, why not? Why not we do the same damn thing? Nah, but for real though, we appreciate all of you. Go support. Take a look at the. I don't know. Did the boss ever run the banner with the ad promotion stuff in there? Yeah, okay, he did. So if you can make a donation, you can also make a donation, a super chat right now, right here, right now. Go ahead, hit that super chat button if you're watching us on YouTube, or you can make a donation to our Square account or to our Cash App account. Every cup of coffee helps us keep this thing going. It will help keep the lights on in our new studio. So that part we
and
appreciate.
these lights are so hot.
The boss said, "Look for amazing new things," quote unquote.
I'll be glad when we get the AC running good up in here. I know it's the middle of winter, but with these new, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah, but you're not in front of these hot lights either.
All right, well, I mean, I'm not that hot. Look, if I'm not sweating, I must just be cool today. I don't know. I'm Rattler cool. That's all I'm doing. Hey, shout out to all of the people in the studio.
What up,
watching.
Kelvin?
Make sure to good. Hopefully, Kelvin, you're tweeting not from driving on the road. Hopefully, you made it home safely. It was a pleasure to see all of my ONG brothers in Atlanta this weekend. I'm gonna say one more big time shout out to Coach Simmons, the entire coaching staff, those players, the support staff, VP Sykes. Love y'all. Congratulations.
One more.
Your final word.
What up, boy? We did it for you.
Long live Kofi Hemingway, ladies and gentlemen. Well said. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Things up. A-Town down. We out.
Drop a like.
But you stay hard.